A lot of those soldiers picked up things to send back home to mama. And I've seen a lot of things that they've sent back to mama. But here was a picture frame, dirty, no picture in it, nothing there. But he sent it back home to mama. When mama got it, there wasn't a note or a letter or anything in it. It was just a picture frame. You can imagine being the mama getting that, and the first thing would be saying, "Where's the letter? Why didn't he write? He sent it. Why did he waste the stamp?" Of course, it was only about a 3 or 4 cent stamp that he was using back then, but he didn't send the stamp, and I think they got their mail delivered for free, if I remember right. But anyway, there wasn't any letter. All it was a dirty old frame. But she held it to her chest, and she was so happy. Her son was still alive, she guessed, because he mailed that home to her. It was a precious thing to her. In time, she took that frame down to a store there in West Virginia and asked them if they could clean it up a little bit. Could they maybe put a mirror in there, in the frame? And so this is what they did. As time went on there in that war, this young man began to get more fearful. There were more bullets coming around him, more shrapnel was coming around him, and he didn't know what to do, and he went to the chaplain. He said, "What can I do?" And he and the chaplain prayed, and the chaplain taught him how to pray. And the chaplain recommended to him that he take the Bible that was given to him when he came into basic training, that he take that Bible and take it out of the bag that it was still in and take it out and read it some. And so that's what this young man did. He started praying more, and he took the Bible out of the bag and started reading the Bible. He didn't understand all of it, but it was a New Testament. That's all it was, and the book of Psalms. And he read the things that were there, and they were so interesting and so thrilling. And he found himself praying more than he had ever prayed before. And he found the Lord taking better care of him than he thought he had ever before. He was so thankful for all the things that he was going through, that he was still alive. The day came when he came home. His friends met him. His family met him there in West Virginia. And I don't know how many of you people know it, but they got little railroads still that run out to a lot of the hollers and things, carrying the people out there where the people live. And they live at the beginning of the holler, and then they go all the way down at the end. And the folks that have a little more money on the end of it, the holler, because that house is usually a little bit bigger. But they know when you start down the holler. Now in Texas, we call them gullies. Anyway, he came home, and the family met him there in Charleston. His friends met him there. He made it home. Mom was there. He got the hugs. He got something good to eat. Mom was cooking. He finally picked up his bag, the duffel bag that he had brought with him, and he climbed the stairs up to what was his room. And as he climbed those stairs, he got to his room and he opened the door. And when he opened the door, there on the wall was that picture frame and a mirror. He looked at it. He remembered finding it. And as he looked at it, he realized that the words that were on that frame were still there. And it was interesting. He didn't know what it meant for those words to be there. The letters were put up on that frame. Do you have that picture frame now? No? Okay. I will tell you what is on that picture frame on there. It tells us in the Latin wording. It says, behold the man. That's all it said on there. He never was able to read it, but Mama went and had the letters that were on there. There were only 8 letters. She had those letters translated and a little note down there at the bottom saying, behold the man. He looked at it and he realized that it was by him beholding Jesus Christ that he had been taken care of while he was still there in Europe. Folks, one of the things you and I need to realize, we need to behold the man, Jesus Christ. As those of us who meet here and reading the book Desire of Ages, we have found the man who was born in Bethlehem, Jesus Christ. We've been reading about him. We have found the young man that grew up in Nazareth as we've been reading that book, Desire of Ages. Behold the man. The life, we don't read much about it in the New Testament, but in the life in the Desire of Ages, it's kind of there of telling us the things that he suffered, the things that he went through from birth to his youth and as a young man. We read that book and we begin to see, behold the man that walked along the Sea of Galilee. Have you seen that man that's walking beside the Sea of Galilee? Have you seen that man that walks beside the Sea of Galilee, and when the storm comes up, he's able to walk out on the water to his disciples? Behold the man. Have you seen that man, Jesus Christ, as he walks among the crowd, like Eddie was telling us today in the mission story? He doesn't just get the blind men to come and follow him and have 350 blind men around him. Jesus Christ touched them and healed them, or put a little clay on their eyelids, and they were made well. Behold the man giving back the eyesight. Behold the man giving back the hearing. We think we've done something when we have 350, and I think something was done. But he has 350 that are following him and sharing Jesus Christ, and he's learning about the Sabbath and learning about Jesus Christ and all of these things. He's sharing that. But just think if he had Jesus Christ right there and he could touch each one of them and they could see. Wow. I think of the men that we have in India that performs 75 to 150 cataract surgeries a day. And when people leave his office, they're able to see. Folks, we have some things because people have behold Jesus Christ. That man that's operating on those cataracts, he could be here in the United States and could make $1 million by doing all of that. But the thing about it is, he's over there and he's making enough to live on, but not enough to become a millionaire, because Jesus Christ is in his life. Behold the man. Do you behold the man, Jesus Christ, sitting at the table with his disciples on that last night in the upper room? And they eat of the bread, they drink of the grape juice, and they're asking who's the one that's going to go and betray him. Do you ever think of the man that is sitting around the table with those 12 men? And what it must have been like in his heart, in his life, as he felt the things that were about to happen. He had told them, but now was the time that it was going to happen. I don't know about you, but when I watch on TV and I see the young people, and a few older ones, but mostly young people, that are protesting on the streets, I think about the heart pain that Jesus Christ must have when he sees all of that. You know, when I was in Israel, I knew that he loved the Israelis. But while I was there, I knew that he loved the Arabs, but I never thought about how much until my son got me taking a class, how to witness to the Arab people. And the things that are mentioned back here just a little while ago when we were talking about the praises, there's a lot more things that we as Seventh-day Adventists agree with the Arabs that they believe than what we do with the Israelis. A lot more things. And it was interesting as we took the class, how different ones of us are taking that class, and you could hear the sounds in our voice about that. And I remember my son, there in Chattanooga, there was a group of Arab people that wanted to start a mosque across the street from the Adventist church. Do you know how Christians feel about having a mosque around them? Now, the Baptists were around them, the Methodists were around them, the Church of Christ was around them, the Church of God was around them. It was interesting that all of those churches came together and did not want a mosque built in that little community right there where the Seventh-day Adventist church was already setting, and their churches were already setting too. You can drive down the interstate, and as you drive down 75 there, if you know where to look, you look over to your right, and here's a great big steeple way up there in the air. That's the Seventh-day Adventist church. You can't see the church, but you can see the steeple. But there are churches all around it, and none of them wanted a mosque in that area. Now, Dale and I were taking a class online about witnessing to Arab people. He went to court and he said some things about that he thought it was okay for them to build the mosque in that community. I don't know if you've ever been to the Chattanooga church. It's a church of about 700 members. About 500 of them voted that they did not want the mosque to be built in their community. Have you ever pastored a church where you have 500 people voting just the opposite from what you just said? Eventually, the mosque was built in that community. And one of the men in that mosque was an Arab man that owned lots of property, had lots of money, and was a vegetarian. And even liked to practice being a vegan. He took the Adventist pastor out to eat, he and his wife. In time, a tremendous friendship developed among them. And they asked if they could serve a meal to the Adventist people across the street over in their mosque. And so the Adventist people were invited to come across the street to the mosque. You've already have over 500 that voted no. But many of them changed their vote to go and eat. Praise the Lord. And they went over there to eat. And then it was that the Adventists made a meal and invited the Arab folks to come over across the street. Today there's a good relationship between the two churches, our groups. But when I see what's on TV, where we got groups of people saying, kill them, cut their heads off, dead, that's the only way to have it. They all got to die. I see Jesus Christ, behold the man. Saying, I came to this world to die for all of them. And somehow, we have to get among all of them to tell them about the man, Jesus Christ. As was mentioned, they know him as a prophet, but they don't know him as a Savior. They know him as a good man, but they don't know him as the one who died on the cross for them. They know him a little bit from the book, but they don't realize that he's coming back again to take us home, to get out of this world where all of this sickness of sin is so rampant. They don't know the man, Jesus Christ. Dear friends, you and I did not pick up that plaque, that frame there in France. But it says in Latin, to behold the man. In English, we know the words, behold the man, Jesus Christ. Today, as we take part in the communion service, we need to behold the man, Jesus Christ. How he changed our lives and is still doing something beautiful in our lives. Every one of us have been changed since we came into this building, but it's because Jesus Christ is here changing our lives. As we separate and the women go to the back to wash the feet and things, and the men stay here to wash the feet, let's behold the man, Jesus Christ. He's coming back, and we need to be a part of him. Let's separate at this time.